this lady who was sitting next to us wanted to be involved with both of us. She was staring at John the whole time, but yet like rubbing up against me. It was a very interesting experience.
As soon as she sat down, I was worried because she just seemed like that kind of person.
You're tall and attractive and muscular. Like, of course people are gonna look at you, but I just didn't know they would be so bold.
The more dressed up you are as a woman, the more likely a woman's to hit on your man.
That's a shortcut to getting your ass handed to you. That's all I gotta say.
But this last...
We saw Shania Twain.
Oh, yeah.
And this lady who was sitting next to us wanted to be involved with both of us. She was staring at John the whole time, but yet like rubbing up against me. It was a very interesting experience. Luckily, she did not ruin the Shania experience, but it was the line. She was towing the line.
Yeah, I was definitely worried about. I mean, as soon as she sat down, I was worried because she just seemed like that kind of person, and she immediately started talking to us, and then.
We were in Vegas, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that's worth sharing.
Yeah, and then I knew it, she came up to you and she was like, "Oh, will you stand up there with me? Will you go up there with me?" You know, and she's saying, you know, and then she was like, "Oh, and you could go too." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. I was waiting for that one to come because I knew that's where it was going. And then we're up there, of course, and then she's got her arm around you, and then she's got her arm around both of us, and I'm like, you know.
Yeah, and then her head's like resting on my boob, like looking up at us. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I was like,
and then she's like, she's so cute. And I was like, is she doing that thing where women like compliment the other woman to try to like weasel in there? And then she said something like, you got to protect her. And I was just like, he does. And then she didn't talk to us the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I was like, he does. And then she luckily, like, I guess took that as like, hey, which I'm glad because I was like, I love Shania Twain.
Yeah.
And I was like, if this woman ruins this experience, and John got us like amazing seats. I was like, if I have to yell at this woman and then she like causes more drama, granted she was drunk, so I didn't know if I had to be like, hey, look, back up.
Yeah.
If she was going to flip out. But I was like, thankfully after that, like, moment she stopped, but
yeah,
that was an experience.
I was like, woman, you don't even know who you're messing with, because look, Nicole doesn't handle this kind of stuff well. I mean, you did handle it well, because I thought you were going to flip out, because I mean, she was coming on pretty strong and aggressive. So
look,
I was
had to hold it together for Shania.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the type of person where people are like, oh, like, she's so cute, she's not going to do anything, but like, you cross the line, and that's like the last time you cross the line, because like, I'm a nice person until you give me a reason to be like, hey, no.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, you know, when the girl's just looking at me, you know, but this is beyond that, so okay. But you handled it well. You didn't make a scene, and yeah, I guess she got the message, but
I mean, you know, she didn't do anything else after that.
But I was, you know, I was like, oh, please, because you were just talking about just before we got to it, like all day about some other girls or something that was, I forget what it was, that they were like, you know, looking in my direction or something like that. And I was like,
well, they always do. Like, every time we go past like a group of girls, they're like staring at John, and I like see them staring at John, and I'm just like, and you don't do anything.
And I was like, no, that doesn't happen. You know, it's not. As you know, I was just saying to you, and then this lady shows up, and I'm like, great, this is not going to help my case at all.
This doesn't happen, and then we'll like get on an airplane, and the flight attendant's like, oh, hey, like, where are you going? And I'm like, hello, this is happening, and you're like, no, but at least you like have some of these instances where they're like, yeah, it does happen. And I didn't think it would be that big of a deal until I met you, and you were like, no, women like unavailable men. Because like the people I interacted with, that was not how we operated. And so being with you and like being married, and like you're tall and attractive and muscular, like of course people are going to look at you. But I just didn't know they would be so bold sometimes with some of the things, like not the flight attendant necessarily, but the lady at the Shania Twain. I was like, wow, like, and she's married. She was a mother,
right, out
with her other mother friend in Vegas, low key, without saying it,
Right.
trying to like get involved in our situation.
Which also makes my point about, look, women do, so with girls trip, please. I don't trust the girls trip.
If you're one of
because
those
I've seen it too
women who
much.
are like going after someone else's man or like trying to get all up in someone else's relationship, you need some therapy.
But you have to
need
understand
some
too
help.
that when you are dressed up very nicely, the more dressed up you are as a woman, the more likely a woman's to hit on your man. And
Which is so stupid.
It's because women they evaluate a man's value by
Woman he's with.
Exactly. So because that's the shortcut to figure out value. That's how women
That's
generally.
a shortcut to getting your ass handed to you. That's all I gotta say.
But social proof is.
What do they
is the
say?
thing.
Fuck around and find out. She was about to find out. She's lucky she did not find out. I mean, I wouldn't have fought her in Shania Twain, but I used to be not the nicest person, and that part of me.
Man, if they had to stop the
come out.
concert, if Shania's like, hey y'all,
can you-
can you just chill out for a second over here? I'm trying to sing, okay?
Look, I would not have allowed her to ruin Shania's night and my experience of that, but it was dangerously close. Then, this is not in the same realm, but we're sitting at the casino playing a game, and this lady comes up to us. I'm just sitting there, and she's like, I need to see your ID. And I'm like, is this real? And she's like, yeah, like right now. I'm like, I don't have it. Like, it's in my luggage. She's like, you need to go get it. I'm like, I don't look under 18. You have to be 18 to gamble, right? Or is
you
it
have to be-
21? Well, like,
I think you have to be 18 to be in
21.
the casino, but you have to be 21 to gamble. Or, I don't know.
thought
Maybe
it
you don't
was
have to be 18.
18.
Maybe you only have to be, yeah, that
I
makes
do
sense.
not look
Yeah.
under 18.
Right.
And even in that moment, I didn't. I had some makeup on, but I'm like, I did not look under 18. But this woman would not leave me alone. I had to show her a picture of my passport on my phone. Luckily, that worked. But and John's like, she's 32, and I'm like, is this really happening right now? Like, I can maybe understand getting carded for some alcohol, but we don't drink, so like that's less likely to happen. But we didn't even talk to this lady. She beelines for us, who worked there, and then approached us. Like, we didn't ask her any questions. We didn't win anything where she was like, oh, you won this. Let me see your ID.
Yeah.
It was just like minding
And
her
I'm
own
like-
business.
I'm like, I'm just hanging out with this 17-year-old girl just showing her how to gamble. I mean, shit.
It was so
Right.
ridiculous. I'm like, is this real life right now? Almost had to like have a talk with this lady last night, and now this woman thinks I'm like underage in a casino. This is great.
Vegas.
But actually, every time we're in Vegas, people do that. Remember we went to that when we were young festival, and we were in line, and he didn't ID anybody but me.
Right, yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, so luckily everybody's safe. Maybe that she's watching this podcast, Don't press your luck next time.
Try their best.